What's going on, everyone? It's Fuzzy. Welcome back to yet another MLB offseason recap. Yesterday was absolute mayhem. Today is not going to be as spicy, but there are still a few things that we have to talk about that is going to really change the landscape of baseball in 2021. So we're not going to waste any time with an intro, but if this is your first time on the channel, I would really appreciate a subscribe because we're on the road to 300,000 subscribers. We have breaking news. This came from yesterday, so maybe it's not breaking anymore, but it's still a trade I want to talk about. The Dodgers were not done just yet after trading away Cody Thomas and Adam Kolarek. They traded Dylan Floro. Why? He was actually pretty good the last couple seasons in LA. So at first I was kind of scratching my head like, why did the Dodgers do this? They need bullpen help, but apparently the prospects that they got in return are going to be pretty good going forward. But let's talk about Dylan Floro, who had a 3 ERA and an almost 8 strikeouts per 9 since 2018, and he's not even 31 years old yet, so he's got age on his side. He's got pretty good stuff. He helped them win a World Series. Why did they trade him away? Well, the Dodgers are betting on these two prospects to be really good in the next couple seasons, and maybe even one of them in 2021. Alex Vesia and Kyle Hurt. Let's talk about Vesia first and foremost, because in 100 innings in the minor leagues, he has a combined 1.62 ERA and a 12.4 strikeouts per 9. That is nutty. So I don't know why the Marlins gave up this guy. I can understand Kyle Hurt, who is a 5th round draft pick. He throws gas. He's someone that is going to be a project for the next couple of years. But Alex Vesia seems to be someone that can strike out a ton of guys and limit the damage. However, in his few innings in Major League Baseball, he did not fare well. He actually debuted in 2020. But it was a shortened season. We're not going to really hold anything above his head. This is a trade where it can end up being a win-win, where the Marlins benefit this year and maybe the Dodgers will benefit in the long term, because Alex Vesia and Kyle Hurt can both benefit their club as soon as 2022, maybe even 2023. So I guess it's a win-win. Very strange in my opinion, but if you're a Dodgers fan or if you're a Marlins fan or really just a baseball fan, you're obviously watching today's video. I wanted to update you because there is some impact for the 2021 season. The Marlins, they got better. I am going to sound like a hater right now, but I don't know how Jake Arrieta just got $6 million from the Chicago Cubs. I just don't understand this. He is not worth $6 million anymore, and we're going to talk about why. Because in 352 innings for the Phillies, he had a 4.4 ERA and a 4.6 FIP. That is awful. He pretty much stole money from the Philadelphia Phillies, and Phillies fans across the country are rejoicing. It's basically Christmas coming early in 2021 because he's no longer on the books or pitching, because he has one good start for every 7 bad ones. They replaced Jake Arrieta a few years ago with Yu Darvish, and now they're replacing Yu Darvish with Jake Arrieta for $6 million. How can you say that you traded away Yu Darvish to help with payroll and stay under the luxury tax? And then you give a stupid contract. What are the Cubs doing right now? They're kind of an embarrassment, I'm not going to lie, and I like the Cubs. Even though they beat us in the 2016 World Series, I'm a big Javier Baez fan. I love Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo. I even like Kyle Hendricks. He might be the most underrated player in all of baseball. But $6 million to Jake Arrieta? I need to stop talking about this before I get angry. If you're a Cubs fan, you're scratching your head. Just like the title says, the Padres got even better and they made yet another big-time move. Now, this is not Trevor Rosenthal. I would have rather had Rosenthal as a Padres fan, but Mark Melancon, he is not a bad consolation prize. For his career, he has a 2.85 ERA, a 2.9 FIP, and 205 saves. For the longest time, he was the highest paid relief pitcher in Major League Baseball history. That was until Kenley Jansen and Aroldis Chapman both got bigger contracts, but Melancon so far has been pretty solid as a closing pitcher, and I truly think he is going to be one of those guys that can surprise people, especially on a juggernaut 2021 Padres squad. So to me, the money doesn't really matter. I believe that they could have given Trevor Rosenthal just a little bit more, and he's going to be even more dominant because he's got that 101 fastball. He's got the pretty good off speed. But Mark Melancon, he did not give up one single run in the 2020 postseason. So obviously there is a lot of gas gas left in the tank. He's not going to blow you away with, 99 fastballs or anything crazy like that, but even at his age, he's still one of the better relief pitchers in baseball. Now, we've talked about the Dodgers. We've talked about the San Diego Padres. The third team, in my opinion, that is going to be really good in the National League is the New York Mets. We know they've added Francisco Lindor, Carlos Carrasco, Aaron Loup, Trevor May, Joey Lucchesi. They've had a terrific offseason, and they also just got a guy in Jonathan Villar that is going to be a great backup for any shortstop help or second base, third base, outfield help. He is going to be a great bench bat. But one thing that I think the Mets are still going to struggle with is bullpen, and it got even worse with Seth Lugo undergoing surgery on a loose body in his elbow. So he is going to be out for the next 2 months, which means he's going to miss all of spring training. Maybe he's going to get back by the second month of the 2021 season, but this is a big time loss because he's probably their most dominant relief pitcher aside from Edwin Diaz. When Edwin Diaz is on top of his game, the dude is disgusting, but he can also be a 5th or a 6th starter, someone that can fill in the starting rotation if someone gets injured. They've already traded away Steven Matz, and Joey Lucchesi, again, he's a wild card. So if Lucchesi doesn't pan out and maybe Marcus Stroman goes down, Seth Lugo was the security blanket both in the bullpen and the rotation. So now that he's going to be out for the next couple weeks, 6 to 7 weeks, that is a big time loss. So what they need to do right now, we've already brought him up, the Mets need to go get Trevor Rosenthal. Maybe you have to overpay a little bit, but the fact that he was dominant just a year ago in 2020, he is going to be the security blanket that Seth Lugo was supposed to be. And then once Seth Lugo is back, they're going to be even more dominant. I mean, when you have Trevor May, you have Seth Lugo, Edwin Diaz, and maybe Jerjes Familia goes back to being, his prime self. I don't think that's going to happen. And same with Dylan Betances. They're actually trying to get them both off the books. But to me, they're not. I mean, they're getting paid a little bit. Yeah, sure, you're taking a hit to the pocket, but in their prime, they have been really, really good. And I just hope for the Mets' sake that Seth Lugo does not have an extended rehab. Maybe they go get Trevor Rosenthal. Maybe they hold on to Jerjes Familia or Dylan Betances, and maybe they have a resurgence in their career and they're back to being dominant. I mean, it can happen. Moving on over to a few more signings, the Rays picked up 2 different pitchers. First and foremost, you have Rich Hill, who was solid in 2020. He had a 3 ERA, but his FIP is always a little bit suspect because if you don't know what FIP is, we've talked about it quite a lot on the channel, but it's pretty much a pitcher's ability to limit home runs, walks, hit by pitches, and cause strikeouts. So because Rich Hill doesn't strike out a lot of guys, his FIP is always a little bit inflated, but he was really good for the Twins just a year ago. He kind of had a breakout season, even though a lot of people said that he was going to get overpaid. So that is a big time addition to that Rays rotation. And then Colin McHugh, who sat out 2020, from 2014 to 2018, he was great. He had a combined 3.5 ERA and FIP, and he finished 8th place back in 2015 in the Cy Young Award race. So the fact that they lost Charlie Morton, that's a big time blow, but maybe Rich Hill and Colin McHugh can kind of close that gap a little bit because we all know the Yankees and the Red Sox, they've gotten better. So it's going to be up to the Rays to try and match them. Now, last but certainly not least, talking about the American League East, we have the Yankees getting better, in my opinion, with Jay Bruce. Now, Jay Bruce signed a minor league deal, so if he makes the team, he's going to get $1.35 million with about $500,000 in incentives if he meets a certain amount of, plate appearances and everything like that. He's 34 years old, coming off a pretty bad 2020, but in 2019, in just 98 games, he had 26 home runs. Yes, the OPS wasn't what you wanted. I think it was around 780 to maybe 800. So he's still serviceable. The only problem is, does this mean Brett Gardner is not going to get re-signed? Because if Jay Bruce performs, he's kind of a more powerful Brett Gardner, because Brett Gardner, while he is good defensively, Jay Bruce has been better the last couple seasons. So we'll have to wait and see. If you're a Yankees fan, would you rather have Jay Bruce or Brett Gardner? Because I thought Brett Gardner was going to end his career as a Yankee. Maybe that's not the case. I will say back in 2010 and 2013, Jay Bruce had 16 defensive run saves. In the last 2 years, he's been a 2 defensive run outfielder. So while he is not the defensive stud that he was once upon a time, he is still very much serviceable, and he's got that pop, which is going to be perfect in Yankee Stadium. So that does it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you're a Dodgers fan, what do you make of that Dylan Floro trade? If you're a Padres fan, what do you make of giving a good amount of money to Mark Melancon? And then a Cubs, what are the Cubs doing? Giving Jake Arrieta $6 million? Now, I mean, come on, that's just bad. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Stay safe and peace out.